What's up, home bartenders? Today we're gonna make the first ever Mai Tai recipe that I ever made, and we're gonna compare it to the Mai Tai that I would make today, with a bit of fancier ingredients, a bit more knowledge that I've accumulated over the years of being a home bartending enthusiast. This is how I would make a Mai Tai today. This is how I originally made it, and we'll see which one's better. So I originally followed Tom Macy's video on Howcast, published about 10 years ago, and he followed a pretty standard Trader Vic recipe. However, the only rum I had was Captain Morgan's spiced rum. So yeah, we're gonna be using 2 ounces of spiced rum today. So be nice, it was the only rum I had, and back then I didn't know much about rums. For our orange liqueur, I had Cointreau, which is like a fancy triple sec. A great product, but not the orange liqueur I would use today in a Mai Tai. But doesn't mean you can't use it. If all you have is Cointreau, use it. Now, for our orgeat here, I had Torani's orgeat or almond syrup. This is actually the 0 sugar version, and I mean it's very artificial, it's very intense, but hey, as I remember it made a great Mai Tai. All right, so ½ an ounce of the orgeat. And then for limes, what I used to do is just roll the lime. I didn't measure my limes back then. Half a lime gives you about 3/4 to an ounce of juice, as long as you have a decent lime. So that's all I did. And I dropped the peel in there because then the oils give you a little extra flavor. And I didn't have a Lewis bag and a mallet, so we just smashed some ice in a Ziploc bag. It works. That's how I made crushed ice. All right, so a bunch of crushed ice, whip shake. And this is actually the original rocks glass I made my Mai Tai in. Still got it. All right, so there it is, and garnish with just a lime wheel. And there it is, my original Mai Tai. All right, let's make one how I would make it today. Of course, as you can see, we're using some fancier ingredients. Gotta use that Smith & Cross pot still Jamaican rum, my favorite rum. 1 ounce of that. So we're splitting the rums this time. We still have 2 ounces, but we're splitting it. The next traditional rum would be a rum agricole. I'm not a fan of the ones that are too grassy. They tend to overpower the drink, but this rum Baldwin is very nice. So 1 ounce of that as well. As I mentioned, for the orange liqueur, I'm now using the Pierre Ferrand dried curacao. That's much more traditional. It's a brandy-based orange liqueur, so it's going to give you an extra richness and depth of flavor. And of course, if you've seen my last video, I make my own orgeat. So obviously, homemade orgeats are going to be a lot more nutty and still give you that signature almond flavor, but not quite as artificial. And of course, I now measure my citrus, so the lime goes in there. All right, the rest of the process is the same. We're going to shake it up, and we've got a nice proper Mai Tai cup here. Top it off with crushed ice and garnish with some mint and a dehydrated orange wheel. Okay, here it is, the OG Mai Tai. So I still went with a fairly rudimentary Trader Vic's recipe. So rum, orgeat, orange liqueur, and citrus. 4 ingredients technically. But I used spiced rum because that's all I had. And I used Cointreau, which, this one we use curacao. It's a little of a richer flavor. And I think the biggest thing is I used a very artificial orgeat. That's still friggin' good. Oh my God, that's good. I know a lot of Mai Tai tiki purists out there are probably kicking themselves saying, "Oh, that's garbage," but this is what made me fall in love with tiki. This is what made me fall in love with Mai Tais. Is this exact drink right here? There's definitely a certain nostalgia factor. I remember, this is around the time my oldest son was born. I would spend late nights after my wife went to bed and the kid was sleeping. I would make a Mai Tai, go play StarCraft 2 online, and many nights spent that way with this drink right here and playing StarCraft 2. So there's definitely a nostalgia factor for me. All right, let's move on to the modern. I guess not modern, but the more authentic, fancy Mai Tai. I guess it really depends on what you prefer. This, you really pick up the rum, okay? Obviously, we've got Smith & Cross, we've got our rum agricole, the Baldwin. So So the rum is front and center. This is really that artificial orgeat marzipan almond flavor. This is rum forward. So if you're a rum purist, then obviously this is gonna be the one for you. I get that orgeat flavor. There's a bit more because it's homemade. It's nutty, but it's not as intense. This one's really intense almond flavor, and I kind of like it. And I gotta love the rum. I mean, oh my God, Smith & Cross. Smith & Cross is stealing the show in this one. But it's remarkable how different these two are. There's definitely a nostalgia factor that is putting that one on top for me right now. This is one of my favorite drinks, the Mai Tai in general. But my God, this one's just bringing back memories. Love it. All right, so in conclusion, guys, I'm not gonna rate these because they're both fantastic. They're both number ones. Number one. They're both amazing, but they are very different. And it goes to show you don't need two different special rums to make a Mai Tai. You can use your Captain Morgan, you can use your Bacardi, whatever cheap rum you have, use a cheap coffee house brand of orgeat, and then your limes, and yeah, you can make a Mai Tai and enjoy it. And it's so good, it's so refreshing. We're heading into the summer season. Make your Mai Tais, whether you go simplistic or you go a little more advanced. Enjoy your Mai Tais. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Let's go play StarCraft.
You must construct additional pylons.